Pretty much every country in the world has a national anthem, but oftentimes there are some songs that might be more popular or more recognizable, or just might sound better than the national anthem, that for whatever reason just aren't the national anthem of the country they're so synonymous with. It's kind of like the Capitals video I made a few months ago, huh? How funny is that? There are numerous examples of this all across the world. Now, starting in the country that created McDonald's, the moon landing, student debt, and myself, the United States uses the Star-Spangled Banner and has done so since 1931. However, as any good freedom lover knows, the US has been a thing since 1776. So, what did they use beforehand? When the US was in its infancy, it adopted the still famous Yankee Doodle as a patriotic song. The song actually traces its origins back to various countries across Western Europe, including Britain, who used the song themselves to mock the American Revolution, but was eventually adopted by the revolutionaries themselves. The song that was most commonly used as the anthem before 1931 was Hail Columbia, back when people sometimes referred to America as Columbia, not to be confused with Columbia or the District of Columbia as taken into account by the people of the state of Columbia, or Washington. Today, Hail Columbia is still sometimes used, but merely as a vice presidential anthem, basically a song used to honor the vice president. Speaking of presidential anthems, Hail to the Chief is the proper presidential anthem of the United States, and for this reason is probably more well known. Basically, it's a song used in public events to announce the president's appearance and also their departure. Well, at least from life, as it's also used in state funerals for former presidents.
Whoa, wait, what about My Country 'Tis of Thee? It's also a famous American song that didn't make national anthem status.
Wait, Mr. Betts? What are you doing here?
You left the keys to your channel over here.
Wait, since when does my channel have keys?
That's not important right now. What is important is that everybody watching this video knows that it's actually a collaboration between our two channels. On my channel, MrBettsClass, I have a video going over the history of the Star-Spangled Banner and how, in effect, it's actually a parody song. And you know how I like my historical parody songs.
Yes, we all know that pretty well by now. I've linked Mr. Betts' video in the description below and also in the on-screen cards, so be sure to check it out after this video is over if you haven't already. Okay, so that's all well and good, but this is the world-themed channel, so let's try to find a country that is not the US. Okay, I guess that works. The United Kingdom of this island, part of this island, and all these islands uses the famous and probably overused God Save the Queen. Well, at least historically overused. But another famously British song is Rule Britannia. Rule Britannia was based off a poem by James Thomson of the same name. It was originally included as part of a masque, basically a kind of amateur musical enjoyed by the nobility, about Alfred the Great of Wessex, and was performed at the country home of Frederick, Prince of Wales on the 1st of August 1740. Now, James Thomson was a huge fan of fostering a kind of pan-British identity. As a Scotsman himself who lived much of his life in England, he really wanted to rally everyone for Britain, not just for England, Scotland, Wales, or Ireland. Hence the line, in reference to the many historical figures who fought against those who tried to invade Britain, notably the Romans and the Vikings, even if both those groups actually did succeed in invading the island. Down on the other side of the world, Parallel Universe America, who some apparently call Australia, uses the Dance Australia Fair as its national anthem, but many are also familiar with the song Waltzing Matilda. In fact, many consider Waltzing Matilda Australia's unofficial national anthem, and listening to its lyrics really reveals how Australian it is. Seriously, I'd probably understood it better had it been in German. Now, waltzing can refer to walking or just hiking, and a Matilda is basically like a backpack. So the song is about someone known as a swagman, basically a laborer who would travel from farm to farm while carrying their belongings in a swag, or a bedroll, making tea in a billy can in a bush camp, and catching a wild jumbuck to eat. And then it ends with him getting caught by the police and killing himself in the billabong and becoming a ghost. I'm not even kidding. Oh, and a billabong refers to what we Americans call oxbow lakes. Also, can we just agree that Australian slang sounds really weird when coming out of an American accent? Finally, leaving the Anglosphere behind, we have Norway, whose anthem is Ja vi elsker dette landet, or Yes we love this land, as if they needed to clarify that. But one of Norway's most famous patriotic songs is Norge i rødt, hvitt og blått, or Norway in red, white, and blue. Oh, it sounds pretty familiar. Norge i rødt, hvitt og blått, God I hope Norwegians are more forgiving than Poles, was written during Nazi occupation in 1941 by Finn Bø, B.S. Brandholt, and Arild Fjaborg. Again, sorry Norway. Though the melody was actually written by Swedish composer Lars-Erik Larsson. Today the song is often played during things like the Constitution Day parades, and is actually very famous despite the fact that it's actually very hard to find any information about it in English. So yeah, sometimes countries might actually have too many anthems to go around, and this isn't even going to regional anthems and state songs. Now, if you were still curious about how the actual anthem of the United States is really just a parody song in itself, head over to MrBettsClass to learn more. Be sure to like and subscribe to both of our channels for weekly historical and social studies content that we both try to make as entertaining as possible. See you on Sunday or Tuesday or whenever I can post my Halloween video.